Hello, everyone. We're back. Welcome to this episode of Mix Extents. We have no special guests this week. It's just going to be me, Andrew Pruski, Mark Wilkinson, and Nocentino. We're going to be talking about the upcoming event that is 8KB Summer Edition 2021. Happening next Wednesday, 28th of July, kicking off at 1:45 UTC. And we've got amazing session for you. Guys, this is the third one that we've done. I can't actually believe that.
Wow.
I thought we'd do one event, we get the awesome speakers, but I thought we'd have like 20 attendees throughout the day or stuff like that, not over 1,000. So this is shaping up to be something quite special. And the attendee registrations are looking pretty darn good as well this time around. So are we excited for the event next week or what?
I'm excited. It's still kind of shocking, like you said, the third event. It seems like we were just planning the first one, like last week or something. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. I'm an idiot, and I scheduled a vacation during 8KB as well. So I'll be hosting from the beach. So that'll be challenging and fun.
Well, that's two of you, I think, because Anthony's on holidays. I was going to say we missed an episode last month, completely all of our fault because, well, we've all got busy lives, especially Anthony at the moment. But you're from your vacation home as well at the moment, aren't you, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm in Florida for the summer, getting away, and also our house is getting remodeled, so we had to get out of the house for the summer. So now it's the working part of the vacation. I was off in June. Now I'm back in July doing what I do.
But anyway, so the nice thing about virtual conferences is wherever you are in the world, you can actually just log in and get it done. So we'll be running through. We've got 5 sessions. Oh, go on.
I was going to say that I think that's what is. We talk about like the fact that this is the third one, and I think that's key, right? There's two facets to that. Just the accessibility of the event. Anyone can join from anywhere for free, no big deal. But then at the same time, we can get a sizable audience because you don't have to fly to a location to get the content, because I think most conferences have, let's just say, moved past the super advanced content that we've been targeting. And so I think kind of that virtual conference plus the content we're delivering is hopefully can give us some longevity in what we've been doing, right?
Well, there's definitely an appetite out there for the deeper content, and I think this is one event that wouldn't work in person purely because of the depth of the content, and if you do it in one location, you're only get a small percentage of the attendees of that conference, right, who want to go to the super deep level type. Well, let's call it the mind melty nerdy stuff. That what it actually is. So. No, I think this will always be a in-person conference unless something works out in the future that we could. I don't know. Haven't got a clue, to be fair. Right. I'm quite happy doing the virtual stuff at the moment as well.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, especially I think I've done a couple. I'm sorry. I've done a couple advanced sessions at SQL Saturdays to 3, 4, 5 people, and it's fine. It's fun. You can kind of just super geek out with the people in the room. But it's an accessibility thing, right? I think things like SQL Saturdays and other events that kind of, and rightfully so, kind of target for a larger audience that they can get physically at that location. And this outlet has led us to be able to do what we've been doing.
Look at Mr. Big Attendees here, 5 attendees in his session. I've done 2.
I've had as little as 2 in a session. That was fun.
Yeah.
So,
low numbers are fun for in-person events. I have a good time with that.
Yeah, it's just different because you can kind of go into a different level of detail and interactivity than you could in a larger group.
No, I went to a pre-con at one event, and I got pinged by the speaker a week before. He goes, "So what do you want to do at this pre-con? Because you're the only person going." I was like, "Oh, great."
What was the content? You can't leave us hanging on that.
I'm not going to bring it up. Not going to bring it up. I haven't cleared it with the speaker, but no, he pinged me beforehand, and it's just like, "So we could do this, or we could go this way. Which way do you want?" It was really good, actually. It was like I like having a pre-con tailored to how I wanted to use the topic that he was talking about. It's really cool.
Gonna leave us hanging. It's okay.
He's too embarrassed. He doesn't want to tell us what it was for.
Oh, it's more. I don't want to embarrass the speaker. Who, come
Understood.
on now.
It was a Microsoft Access pre-con.
Right.
I was super excited to go.
Microsoft Access. I may or may not have gotten an email from an ex-client this week about working on an Access database. Just saying.
Oh, have fun. Anyway, so we've got the event next week. We've got 5 amazing sessions. We've done the hard part, chaps. If anyone's ever put an event, the worst part of putting on an event is doing the session selection, because we're quite small. We're one day. We've talked about going like 2 days, but I don't want to do 2 days of this. By the end of next Wednesday, I'm going to be shattered. So,
same.
and then to think about, we'll do it again on Thursday. No. So we keep it small. We only have 5 sessions, and that allows us to say to the speakers, hey, you can go for as long as you want. If you want, you can go up to 75 minutes, so you can go that extra deep dive. So it gives them a little bit more flexibility. But yeah, it's less than 5% of the sessions that we get submitted are selected. So you have to be really, really mean and say this is an amazing session, but it doesn't kind of fit into the flow of the event. So we just kind of have to kick you out, or you get 2 sessions that are both awesome, but they're similar. So, and you go off the abstract.
And to be completely honest, like rejecting like idols, like people that you really look up to and are in very high regard. And having to tell them they can't speak at this because we just had to pick something else.
Yeah, and I think we've done fairly well, and especially since we have set up the call for speakers now, we'll pull 2 conferences from a single call for speakers. Hopefully that relieves a little burden on the community to kind of work up submissions. But really the reason was that first conference, we could have ran 3-4 conferences out of that first bucket of submissions and had a fantastic events for 2 years, right?
Oh yeah. People are still super excited about just being able to do any sort of conference. So we definitely got a lot of submissions.
Should we want to dive into the sessions a little bit?
Yeah, we can. I just want to mention the way we do speaker selection as well. We try and focus on a different topic, a different area of SQL Server for each session, so we don't get too, say, I remember there were 2 indexing sessions that we had that was submitted for I think it was the first 8KB, both by high-profile people in the community, and you can't put 2 sessions on indexing in a 5-session conference. You just can't do it. So that was one of the reasons. So we try and do a different subject area for each session, and we try and get them at like a little bit of a flow, so they sort of kind of complement each other a little bit, but still it's kind of difficult. But yes, let's dive into the sessions that we have. So we're starting off with Torsten, parallelism in Microsoft SQL Server. And Mark, I'm on the website here. One of the things that Mark did for the website this time is, if you're on the website, 8kb.online, by the way, if you click on the session in the schedule, it actually opens up and shows you the abstract, which I absolutely love that. I think that's a really nice little touch.
I spent too much time on that. I'm actually really looking forward to this session. I can't say that I've ever seen a session solely on parallelism, especially like a level 400 kind of deep dive on that. I think it's a highly misunderstood feature, and I'm really excited to see what he has to say there.
Yeah, the only thing I've seen in that universe is when I did the SQL skills training, the immersion events all those years ago. I think they give you pretty exhaustive coverage of what parallelism is and how it works and how to control it and making the right decisions. And so I'm really looking forward to this too, because you're right, it's totally an underserved topic. And I think this was this one of the unanimous selection for all 3 of us, wasn't it?
I think we had 1 space left, and we were an hour in, and I think it was when we were waiting for you to join, because me and Mark did some initial ideas, and we were like, we need 1 more, and you came on and went, what about this?
About it.
Yeah, you did this one. What about this parallelism in SQL Server? And we both are sitting there going, that's the one we were looking at as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think this was it. So the demos for this are going to be cracking, I think.
Yeah.
No,
I like too that this is one of those. I use the word basics because it's one of those concepts that everybody should know about. It's definitely going to be an advanced session, but I like that it's one of those. It's something that I don't care who you are. If you're DBA, you've probably seen parallelism or had to deal with
been
issues
burned by
of it. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it's nice to see stuff like that.
Yeah, anytime in consulting, a lot of times, back when I did consulting, customers would
many years ago.
Customers would call me, and they'd have 16, 32, however many cores, and they're all completely on fire And this is usually the reason why,
Yeah.
is because of some unnecessary parallelism and some queries that are going crazy. And so it would be interesting to give or help to have the community to have this type of resource to be able to deal with those type of workloads when they get in those emergency situations.
Cool. Right, next one. So that's a 75-minute session at level 400 from Torsten. Then we have Jeff. This is a level 8192 session. So we're talking absolutely top level session here. Deep dive in the black arts of index maintenance, GUIDs versus fragmentation. They're not the problem. We are. This is going to be, I've really looking forward to this one. The abstract makes it sound absolutely crazy with what the stuff he's going to be doing. I can't really.
He's a very detail-oriented person. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. He's actually one of the first people he's one of the first people I ever saw speak. When I lived in Michigan, I was a part of the local user group, and he did a presentation on tally tables, I think it was. That kind of blew my mind. And yeah, I'm excited to see that he submitted, and really interested to see what he's got for us there.
I mean, I'm excited for this purely because in the middle of his abstracts, he's mentioned that he's built a tool to analyze index fragmentation, and we're going to use that tool to dive in onto the page level and see what happens when they run a reorganize on an index and having a look at the actual internals on the page. I mean, this is pretty much what 8KB was designed for this type of session. So, nope.
So I think that first line in the abstract, we're going to destroy the myth of random GUID fragmentation. And I think that's such a strong statement, because we've all been taught since day one that having GUIDs as part of a clustering key is of bad news, right? And so I'm really interested to see how we can convince me and then also the community that this is not an issue and that we are.
I think this one's going to generate quite a lot of chat in the Slack channel as it's going on.
We'll add like a second and third moderator for that session.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Randolph next with how does SQL Server store that data type? So this one, I know, Mark, you've been, or is it you, Anthony, has been talking to Randolph a little bit about this session offline.
Yeah.
So
yes. So I know Randolph has blogged in pretty good detail about some data types and how they're stored, and things to how the actual byte streams are represented in the page and things like that. And so looking forward to having Randolph develop that into the session. He sent me a couple of screenshots, or Randolph has sent me a couple of screenshots of slides that they've built, and they're amazing slides. And so I'm really looking forward to see how Randolph communicates that information. Because in addition to his Randolph's really deep dive technical expertise, he has the ability to communicate that really well. And so I'm really looking forward to that.
Breaking out the hex editor.
That's where I got excited.
Yeah, that's what kind of got me when I was reading the abstract as well. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of mind blowing opening up an MDF file with a hex editor. So I'm excited to see that actually presented in a session to show something useful. When I've done things like that, it's just been to play around, and so I'm interested to see what they do with this session. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited about all the sessions, which is obvious at this point, and that's why we chose them all. But,
we are going to go through these sessions and say, "Oh, I'm looking forward to this."
Yeah. There's none that I'm not looking forward to.
As a given, we're excited for it. I don't think we can put on an event and go, "Oh, I don't really care about this." This is filler, we're not going to do that.
Right.
So.
But yeah, hex editors, debuggers, busting myths. That's what this conference is all about. So again, this is just another one of those that I would kind of put into that foundational knowledge kind of thing. It's hard to do troubleshooting, performance troubleshooting and tuning if you don't know exactly what's going on, behind the scenes. So very similar to all sessions on index structure using DBCC page. it's the same kind of thing, being able to understand how this data is stored. And yeah, I think this can be a very cool one.
Proper mind melty content.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
where I'll challenge folks. Like every once in a while, like on some people will say like this isn't useful information, and I think what you're describing, Mark, is how I feel about it too. Like I think this is very useful information. Is it immediately practical to know how to crack open a page? No, but you take that skill and you build on that to help develop your troubleshooting methodologies, your understanding of different structures and different data types and different index types and things like that. That's where it becomes super valuable.
Yeah.
Is it immediately going to solve? Well, actually, tourist in session might actually immediately solve some performance problems in
Yes.
production. But the other stuff that we're talking about are going to be really it's fundamental or foundational. I don't quite know the term that you would describe it, but how this thing is built, right? And then being able to understand that so that you can develop your own troubleshooting methodologies and your own performance tuning techniques for your workloads, right?
I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. If you understand a fundamental level how SQL Server does things, when you see odd behavior, you can go in and dive in and have a look instead of just scratching your head going, well, I have no idea what's happening here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No?
This analogy might stretch it a bit far, but I feel like it's a difference between learning a spoken language and then actually being immersed in the country where they speak it. You get a more like contextual understanding of it. And it's the same thing here. Once you understand how it's accessing data, storing data, like you said, Andrew, when you see certain behaviors, you may not be 100% correct, but you can start to piece together how things are potentially breaking down. And it gives you a lot quicker route to the actual root cause of an issue. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next session we have is by someone, I don't know who he is. He's called Bob Ward.
Yeah. I don't know who that is either.
Apparently works for
Right.
Microsoft. So we've got Bob Ward doing inside SQL weights, latches, and spin locks. Thing that picked up on, Bob Ward submits to your event and says, I'm going to crack out the Windows debugger. Well, you can't. He has spoken at the first EightKB, and what I think one of the memorable lines from that was, "Oh, by the way, this is from the SQL Server source code." And we're like, yeah, all right. So we're going to only a little bit of internals here. We all know Bob always delivers cracking sessions.
Yeah.
So inside weights, latches, and spin locks. Again, in the abstract, this session is not for the faint of heart, as it will be fast and furious.
Yeah, and when Bob says it's fast, right?
I've been to a couple. Was it a 600 level session that he did at Pass once, and I just sat there with my mind being absolutely blown, just going, I might have to go and get the recording of that and have a rewatch.
Yeah,
keeping up.
I think the amazing part about him and his ability to teach really, really complicated stuff and make it accessible, right? You might not get it the first time, but you get the recording and you can watch it again. But like the ability, like the first time I saw him speak was the first IT conference I had been to. It was in 2014, and he showed over 3 hours how memory management worked inside of SQL OS, and I'm like, oh, I get that, But then I went back and looked at the slides, and I was like, what, But it's
I don't get that.
But that's obviously he's a fantastic technical resource, but I think his superpower is being able to communicate really hard stuff in an accessible way. And so I think he's going to bring that again.
Yeah, and with the others, again, the foundational knowledge, weights, latches, and spin locks are super important to understanding what's going on. And bringing the debugger into play while looking at weights is what I'm looking forward to seeing. I have some vague ideas about what he might do, but I'm, as always, really excited to see what Bob's going to do with this session.
Totally.
The demos in the first session he did for us were just fantastic. So it's going to be, it's going to be good. Yep. Okay, and so the last session, last but not least, we have Pam with a deep dive SQL Server and Azure Virtual Machine storage. So we're talking all about optimizing SQL Server in Azure and sorting out your disks. So I'm pretty sure it's not going to be make your disks bigger, you'll get more IOPS. I think it might.
Well, we haven't seen the slides. I don't know. No. But no, with Pam talking, that is not going to be the case.
I think
No,
this
I
is
think
I've seen a couple of sessions. Bob Duffy did one in Ireland about Azure disks and storage spaces and things like that. And it's one of those things of, because I don't actually use Azure in my day-to-day work, we're in a different cloud provider. It's one of those things I always want to refresh on, so I keep my knowledge there, because I use Azure for my private labs and stuff like that. But need to get back into doing some performance testing at some point as well. So
Yeah, this
yeah,
one
and
seems super relevant right now.
Mm.
I know what, for the past probably 10 years, everyone has been moving to the cloud. Um, but I mean, people have slowly and steadily moving things into the cloud. And from my own personal experiences, if you've got an 8-core on-prem box and you build an 8-core box in the cloud, you're not going to get the same performance. If you don't, I mean, you might be able to get close if you really know what you're doing, but like storage performance really, really becomes an important thing, especially for a shop like ours that uses, lightning fast, all flash arrays. When you go into the cloud, that's not what you're getting. So yeah, I'm excited for this, just because of the practical applications. I don't think, I think people maybe think to themselves when they're moving to the cloud, oh yeah, storage might be a little bit slower. It's not even the speed. Like there's just so many different facets to the cloud storage that you have to keep track of. Whereas if you've just got, some storage admins in your shop that are kind of handling things behind the scenes, it's going to be a big shock when you spin up your first instance
yeah, and
in any of the cloud providers. So
there's in addition to understanding the various configurations and the types of disks that are available, understanding how the infrastructure can help and support your workload. For example, did you know an Azure disk is automatically replicated 3 times inside of Azure, right? So if you have a single disk, you literally have 3 copies of your data inside of an Azure data center. Pretty cool, right? And so when people do things like software RAID or storage spaces direct that bring together a collection of disks that aren't striped inside the OS, well, they are at the infrastructure level. And so those kind of things, and understanding what Azure can provide to you, are super critical to understanding and building a successful deployment using the local ephemeral disk inside of your virtual machine for TempDB, right? You'll get microsecond latency to an SSD rather than paying for a provisioned disk.
yeah.
That is going to be, potentially several milliseconds latency. So building on top of those things, that's so critical. And so that's why I was excited to see the session to kind of get those things in front of this community so that they can build successful SQL Server deployments in Azure on VMs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
So I think we've
storage
got
talks are always highly appreciated.
yes, absolutely.
And let's be serious, it's Pam. So it's
Yeah.
going to be like, here's a slide and we're going to go like super deep dive. And then like, oh, wait, I'm still doing it. And it's just, because I love how she teaches, because she just talks to you, like she's talking to you,
So I think that's 5 amazing sessions, all on a different area of SQL Server. So so that's that last session kicks off at 8 p.m. my time. So it'll finish. We're going to be finishing around about 10 p.m. I'm going to be shattered. But I remember finishing the last one. I was just absolutely bouncing. Just put on amazing. We had a whole bunch of great stuff going on in the SQL community Slack, which if you listen to this and you're going to go to the event, please do join us in the SQL community Slack channel. It's the 8KB channel. We'll have a whole bunch of, we'll all be in there. We'll have a whole bunch of, we haven't mentioned the moderators yet. We've got a whole bunch of absolutely great moderators coming and special guests of pretty much all the previous speakers that we've had from 8KB are going to be joining us in there as well. So if you have questions in there, you just want to hang out, you want to make comments about the sessions or ask questions, please just join us in there and we'll have a whole bunch of people in there chatting away. So that was one of the best things about the last event, was everyone chatting in there. It was absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, and attendees really should take advantage of the Slack channel, because like you said, there are going to be a lot of people in there, like previous speakers, previous moderators, and of course all the attendees.
Yeah,
So
and even other community leaders just kind of hanging out, It's
yeah,
gonna be-
exactly. And they're hanging out, like they're there right now, kind of thing. So if you have a question to ask and you ask it, you're probably going to get an answer pretty quickly. I mean, I definitely want everybody to watch the sessions and pay attention, but but I mean, definitely take advantage of that Slack channel, because there's going to be a lot of people in there.
Are we to the point where everyone's going to be like, no, I'll just watch the recordings later, and they're just all hanging out in a Slack channel?
Well, so I mean, for some sessions, for some people that might make sense, but also understand that if you do ask questions in the Slack channel, often they will be relayed, and this happens every time. There'll be somebody that's in the Slack channel and on the Zoom call will relay questions to the Zoom call for folks that can't get on. So it's
Well, we try and make it, we try and make it accessible. We got the Slack channel. We live stream to YouTube, which is how we can get the whole event onto YouTube so quickly, because we just like click, bang, there it is.
Well, I'm just laughing about it because we didn't tell anybody to do that. We just had people that were just started doing it on their own, just relaying questions between Slack and the Zoom call. That was pretty cool.
Yep. We have that, we have the YouTube, and then we have the Zoom call as well where you can join in. But we don't have the chat in Zoom. We don't use that feature at all because it's not great, let's be honest. And so we have everything in the Slack channel. So we'll have that link to that Slack channel on the emails going out, because we'll be emailing all the attendees with the Zoom link in the next week or so. Well, we will be in the next week or so, because the event's in the next week or so. We better double check with DBA Tools, because we use their link to register for the Slack channel. Last time that didn't work. So yeah, that's one thing for us to do. But it's pretty smooth once that's up and sorted. What else have we got? We have the moderators coming in. We've got great people joining the Slack channel.
We've still got T-shirts for sale.
Oh, I mentioned it. Let's flog our wares. Yep.
Yes, the T-shirts are how we pay for, how we pay for this. Well, it's not how we pay for this podcast. We pay for this podcast using our wallets, but we try to reimburse that through merchandise sales, which does not make up the total cost. So we do run this event at a loss, but we really enjoy doing it. We think it fills a need, so we'll keep doing it. But yeah, if you head over to bonfire.com/store/8KB, we've got the 8KB Summer Edition shirts there.
Limited edition T-shirts.
Limited edition brain melting T-shirt. If you're holding out on that and you want to purchase one after the event, that's fine too. If you want to just hold off and wait and see if your brain's going to be melted, it's understandable. And then we've also got mixed extents clothing there, as well as the green logo 8KB. So yeah, definitely head over there if you're interested in supporting the podcast and future 8KB events.
I'm gonna have to get a second hoodie because my first hoodie was, let's say, absconded with by one of my kids. So I have to.
Oh, the kids steal your hoodie.
So my oldest daughter has, I think I did 3 test prints for our first 8KB shirt, and I'm kind of a perfectionist. We'll use a positive word. I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to design stuff like that. So there were slight issues with the shirts initially. So my daughter wears 3 different misprinted 8KB t-shirts.
Awesome. All right, chaps. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. And well, I'll be talking to you in the week, but we'll see you all next week, Wednesday, Q1 UTC for 8KB Summer Edition 2021. Bye now.
Bye-bye. There it is.
Cue the outro music. Do, 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 do.